Your organization and every organization is made up of people. But your organization, or no organization, will really work as long as these people operate and behave as individuals. They need to relate and collaborate in order to make a contribution to the organization of which they are a part. This doesn't happen automatically, and so it falls to the manager to make it happen. But while managers can bring some influence to bear on people to get along together, to relate well and to collaborate, the manager can't command this. Using these geometric images to illustrate, a manager and his or her people can look like this. The different shapes can represent different skills or roles, different personalities, different nationalities, etc. We know it's not wise nor even possible to get rid of these differences and make them all circles or worse still, squares. But the manager does have a different and magic power which they can use and which can work miracles. It looks like this. The manager establishes or creates a powerful and winning vision or goal that they know will appeal and make sense to people and impress them. They share this with their people, and then the magic happens. So what happens is that people do not change how they are and cease being who they are, but they become affected by, inspired by the vision. While all the people remain how and what and who they were, they now become imbued by the vision. The same people, but now very different people. What drives their new behavior is not the manager, but what the manager represents and the vision or goal that the manager has shared with them and invited them to be part of. Literally, they become empowered, made more powerful by virtue of being inspired and driven by a meaningful goal, something of importance. And because they all share something in common that they value, this unites them and establishes a common basis and language for their relationships. They become something new. Listen to how Ben Zander, the conductor of the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra, describes it.
The new leadership we're talking about is about what we would like to see, where we would like to go, what would work for all of us.
People are hungry for a new metaphor. They're tired of the old imagery of sports and war and beating up the enemy and smashing their face and knocking them to the ground and how we can win and rah, rah, rah. And so, finally everybody says, oh, give me a break, Maybe the way to think is that we're all in a symphony, and that, you see, symphony, sounding together. That means all the voices of the symphony are sounding together. It's not about winning, it's about sounding together. Now suddenly leadership becomes a completely different thing.
It won't matter too much if another member of the orchestra has a different skill and background and comes from maybe a different country and culture and is not the kind of person that any one of them might choose to go on holiday with. They are fellow musicians working alongside each other in a symphony to make something happen, lovely music that they could never do on their own. But this is much more than about improving relationships. The different shapes become something new, something greater, a team or orchestra. This creates a new entity and a whole new power. This is the power of the leader, who chooses to use not their own personal or positional power, but the power of a vision, a goal, like Rossander explains. You can only bring this off, make this work, create a new entity when you behave like a facilitative leader, when you facilitate the thinking and brilliance of your people and lead them to do the great things you as a leader believe are possible and want to make a reality.